All right, what is up, everybody? Here we are talking Detroit Lions football every single day because why not? Let's talk Detroit Lions football every day. Sometimes I feel like I should talk longer about Detroit Lions football every day. So give me a little confidence meter. Where are we at? We got our final preseason game coming up in just a few days. You've seen 3, even though most teams only get 3. We can ignore the Hall of Fame game. So now that we've seen the other 2 preseason games, you've been hearing news out of camp. What is your confidence level in this team? And I think sometimes it's so easy, but to answer that in the comments below, where are you at? Like, what is your confidence level? And put it in relation from talent, coaching, and schedule. And I was just looking at the schedule again, and I got to be honest, it is brutal. Like, it is a brutal schedule. And I was thinking to myself, I found myself feeling a little sorry. A little sorry for myself, a little sorry for my team that they had to play the best all the time, constantly. To be the best, you got to beat the best. And Dan, nobody is looking more forward to this challenge, I promise you, than Dan Campbell. And there is news that came out today that is exactly what I was waiting for. And it's an article every year that comes out. And I can never remember when it comes out. And it is about now. And is the NFL top 25 under 25. And this is one that we continue to dominate in pretty convincing fashion. And continually over the last 3-4 years have had the most players on this list, and we are at it again. And so I want to talk about these players. I want to talk about a player who's not on it that should be. But before we get into that, here's why it was such a refreshing article for me. It helped me understand 2 things. Number 1, yes, we have a remarkably difficult schedule. I know that. There's no getting around that. There's no ignoring that. That is a big, big deal. We have a difficult schedule. However, we have the most talent of any roster in the NFL. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. I'm not saying we have the most talented quarterback. I'm not saying we have the most talented wide receiver. I'm not saying we have the most talented linebacker. I'm not saying we have the most talented corner. I'm not saying we have the most talented tight end. But I can make an argument that we have the most talented running back. We have the most talented offensive lineman. We have the most talented defensive lineman, and that we have arguably the most talented safety. That one's a little more of a stretch, but you're going to see these players and more pop up on here. So let's get into this list. But I said it reminded me of 2 things. Number 1, that we have the talent to beat the best schedule or the hardest schedule in the NFL. We do. We absolutely do. Number 2, I should get to the number 2 thing that it reminded me of. It reminded me pretty simply that it's not a 1-year window. This is not a 1-year window. This is a young team that is hungry. And even if the roster gets beat up through this tough schedule, how much more beat up could they get than last year, right? Even if they don't win it this year, which I think they absolutely have a fantastic shot, as good of a chance or better than anybody to win the Super Bowl, it's not a 1-year window. This window continues. It stays open. All right, so let's get into this top 25, under 25. All right, number 1 is Ja'Marr Chase. He is 25 years old. The thing was that players, let me see if I can find it, top 25, under 25, they cannot be older than 25 by week 1. So they have to be 25 or younger by week 1. Ja'Marr Chase is number 1. Number 2 is Jalen Carter, defensive tackle for the Eagles. That was an interesting call for me. I was like, really? Like, okay. Like, that's fine, I guess. But Jaden Daniels, thank you, should be above him. Like, not even close. Jaden Daniels is at 3. And then you get your first Detroit Lion, Aiden Hutchinson. With Aiden Hutchinson, here's what they're saying about him. After following up a strong rookie season with his first Pro Bowl campaign in 2023, Hutch led the NFL in sacks through the first 5 games. Broken leg ended his season prematurely, but Hutch has made full recovery and should return to terrorizing quarterbacks in week 1. I would rather have Aiden Hutchinson on my team than Jalen Carter. I just want to be very clear on that. and it's not close. Aiden Hutchinson has he's a top 5 player on this list. All of these top 5 players have an argument to be number 1, but Jamar Chase has the overall body of work. If Hutchinson was healthy last year and won defensive player of the year like he was on track to do, he would have been number 1 or number 2. All right. Brock Bowers, most talented tight end in the NFL. I have no problem with that. Brock Bowers is unbelievable. Pat Surtain, cornerback for the Broncos. That's good. And then we get our boy, Penei Sewell, right here. Sewell continues to help anchor the line of one of the most potent offenses in the league. Last season, Sewell earned first-team All-Pro honors for the second straight year and Pro Bowl honors for the third time in his 4-year career. He is the best offensive lineman in the NFL. Aiden Hutchinson is the best defensive lineman in the NFL. I'm just going to go out and say this. We have the best edge and the best tackle in the NFL. That is how you withstand the schedule. These 2 players, keep them healthy. They are anchors at the most important units on a football team, the offensive and defensive line. That's where I'm at. We're going to keep talking, though. All right, C.J. Stroud, I get it, at number 8. Kyle Hamilton at 10. And then we have our boy, and look at him. They even gave him a picture. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 2-time, and this is where I get angry after Amon-Ra. A 2-time All-Pro selection and 3-time Pro Bowl pick, St. Brown has topped the 1,100-yard mark in 3 straight seasons, and last season ranked 3rd in the NFL with a career-high 12 touchdowns. I am okay with where he's ranked, only because the only wide receiver ahead of him is Jamar Chase, and that should be the only wide receiver ahead of him under 25 years old. I am happy that they did not go out here and put Brian Thomas Jr. or Malik Neighbors after just a rookie year ahead of St. Brown. That makes me very happy. Now, this is where I start to get frustrated, and I'm going to open it up. I'm happy that Jahmyr Gibbs made the list, as he should. Again, I don't understand how Jahmyr Gibbs can have more rushing yards. He can have, not more rushing yards, almost the same amount of rushing yards, a much better average yards per attempt, and more touchdowns, and more receiving yards than Bijan Robinson, and still be considered not as good of a running back as Bijan Robinson. Gibbs should be 11. Bijan should be 14. That's the way it should go. There is absolutely no doubt about this. Now, do I think they're very equal? Yeah, I think they're pretty equal, but Jahmyr Gibbs was more efficient in every single way. All right? In 2023 and 945, last year, he had 16 touchdowns, 1,412 yards. Unbelievable. Also, 52 catches for 517 yards. He was better than Bijan Robinson by any measurable statistic. That's it. Jahmyr Gibbs, for my money, is the best running back in the NFL, and he plays for the Detroit Lions. Congratulations. All right, Quinyon Mitchell, Malik Neighbors, Garrett Wilson, Puka Nacua, all these guys absolutely deserve to be here, and all of them are rightfully behind Amon-Ra St. Brown. Sauce Gardner, Brian Thomas Jr., again, should be here. Will Anderson Jr. should be here, but he should be behind Hutchinson. Same with Jared Verse. All these guys should be on here. Here's the honorable mention. All right? And this is one where I need to say a couple of things. All right? I'm happy about Sam Laporta. He should make the honorable mention. I think that is where he should be. He should be one of those guys that should be almost top 25. After his rookie year, I think he was top 25. There is one guy here. Did he age out? It's Brian Branch. Where'd he go? Kirby Joseph was on this list last year. He's too old now. Why is Brian Branch not on this list? This dude absolutely should be. There are defensive backs littered around this thing. Kyle Hamilton is number 9. There are cornerbacks galore. There should be room for Brian Branch on this, especially when I look at the back end, when you're looking at Tyler Smith, Tyler Lindenbaum. Like, Brian Branch has a place in this list. But again, Detroit Lions, most talented young football team in the NFL. Both are true. Most talented team and the most talented young team. That's how you withstand a great schedule, not a great schedule, but a very hard schedule. That's how you know this is a team that will continue to do it years going forward. That is why I'm encouraged. All right, thanks for watching. See you in the next one.